To begin with, we have this concept of the people from other planets as little green men. Are they green from what you know? Are they all the same?
Unfortunately, they're not so benevolent.
A fucking alien.
What's good? Welcome, Air 51 here with your host Jimmy. Another day in the jungle. Give us a like, subscribe, and also become part of our community here in goldeneyeboxing.com for more news and stories, and become part of our channel here. Wow, Terrence Crawford, unbelievable performance, destroys Errol Spence in 9 rounds. Who would have expected that? I expected. I said TKO. I believe that this was going to go to a TKO. And I knew that Terrence Crawford had all the tools to beat Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford is such a technical boxer. He's old school. A lot of his technique resembles Johnny Bratton. Fighters like Sugar Ray Robinson, Willie Pep. Some of his shoulder movement, impeccable shoulder movement. It reminds me of George Benton. Like, there's a lot of things that Terrence Crawford does so well, and he's so patient in the ring. I mean, the man is so patient. Errol Spence came like a brute trying to destroy him, and he was doing okay in the first rounds. I mean, he was throwing the jab, trying to probe him, and then trying to get those body shots. But Crawford, as I mentioned in my prediction, he was moving in angles, throwing the jab, and just not allowing Spence to find a rhythm, because once you start changing angles, then it just becomes very difficult for any fighter to actually come on in and try to hit him. If you're not staying in if you're moving in angles and you're hitting in lines, it's just not going to work. So Terrence Crawford in the second round put Errol Spence Jr. down. In the first round, he was just probing Errol Spence, and then from then on, I mean, he caught him with a nice 1-2. And Terrence Crawford knew that every time that Errol Spence moves forward or launches a combination, he's not fast enough to put himself in a defensive position, right? So he was struggling, Errol Spence, because Crawford was countering Errol Spence, and he had no guard against that. And one thing that I loved about Crawford is that when he actually bent down, he was actually leaning the uppercuts in the body of Errol Spence, who was trying to return fire, throwing body shots. And that's where Terrence Crawford was really hammering Errol Spence. And Errol Spence just didn't have any tools. He looked extremely basic. He looked like I'm gonna put it this way: even Kavaliauskas gave a better fight against Terrence Crawford. Even Amir Khan gave Terrence Crawford a better fight. And in round number 7, he puts Errol Spence twice in the canvas, and then by round 9, it was just a wrap. The ref had enough, and Errol Spence's face, man, I've never seen his face like that. I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford is the real deal. I told many people, many Terrence Crawford haters, that Terrence Crawford was the real deal, and he's been avoided for many years. I remember when he was in lower weight classes, fighters like Mikey Garcia didn't want to fight against him. Fighters like Danny Garcia wanted to move up right away when Crawford was moving to 140. I mean, then he went up to 147, and nobody in PBC wanted to fight him, and every single troll was saying that Terrence Crawford fought bumps, but nobody in PBC wanted to fight this man. And now you know why. The same reason why a lot of fighters are avoiding Demetrius Andrade and Canelo did never wanted to fight Demetrius Andrade for undisputed. Because he knew he was going to lose that fight. Because that's the sort of fighters that they just have everything. They have the jab, they can move, they have the angles, they have the feet, they have the power when they need it, just everything. So all the haters of Terrence Crawford, where are you at? You can't say shit. You ate crow tonight. And this is what happens when you're not looking and you're going by your emotions, and sometimes we do. I mean, I went last time I went with Stefan Fulton, I went by I thought that Stefan Fulton was going to destroy Nayune, but I got the humbling pie, and now many of you are getting the humbling pie with Terrence Crawford. Unbelievable fighter. I mean, unbelievable. The guy is so good, so technical, and to me, he's already surpassed Floyd Mayweather Jr. without a question of a doubt, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. would have never fought a fighter like Errol Spence Jr. Never. He would have ducked him, because one thing, if Floyd Mayweather Jr. was already ducking his mandatory, which is Keith Thurman back in the day, for like 2 years, he would have never fought Crawford or Errol Spence. That fight would have never happened under his watch. He would have waited till they're like older and older, and I think he still would have lost. He ducked black fighters. So Terrence Crawford is the best welterweight that I've seen in decades, in my opinion. He's the best, one of the best welterweights I've ever seen in decades. Definitely surpassed Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr. No questions. No questions about that. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was never undisputed, for God's sake. But Crawford cleaned up 140, 147. Historically, both those divisions were technically welter back in the National Boxing Association days. So he completely conquered the welterweight division. Incredible. Incredible. And Floyd's face, man, he wanted Crawford to lose that fight. He did not want Crawford to win that fight. You could see it in his eyes, like, nope, I don't want this guy to win. But he won. He won. And I think giving the power of Terrence Crawford, he might be able to beat some of the fighters in 154, but he's reaching at this point. I mean, he's stretching his hand in those divisions, because those divisions are bigger for him. But hey, right now, I think he could have a couple of fights there. I think his toughest fight will be Jaron Ennis, and now we know why Errol Spence Jr. was ducking Jaron Ennis. Now we understand why. So it all makes sense now. But right now I have Terrence Crawford as my number one pound for pound in the planet, double undisputed champion. You can't beat that. I would have Usyk number 2, tied with Naoya Inoue. And if Usyk, actually, I technically have, I put Naoya Inoue number. I didn't even have Naoya Inoue in. I mean, I did have it top 5, but I didn't rank him too. But he beat Stefan Fulton. That was a good fighter. But Errol Spence, and just the opposition of Crawford in general, has been much better than that of Naoya Inoue. And also a lot of undefeated fighters too, dangerous fighters too, more proven fighters as well. So I got to put, Terrence Crawford number 1. But if Usyk were to beat Tyson Fury, then that I might have to put Usyk number 1, because he also would be in double undisputed in cruiserweight, which was a very tough division, and also beating Tyson Fury, which would be incredible. I would have to rank him number 1 ahead of Terrence Crawford. But I have to think about that. I have to think about that. It's a very close between those two. And Naoya Inoue, he also will become double undisputed if he beats Marlon Tapales, but he needs to do a little bit more, because he also will be double undisputed. But the other guys in general had much better opposition. So, he will be number 3. And I don't think nobody's going to be able to reach those number 3 spots if they all become undisputed. They will all rank down from there. So we'll see what happens. But wow, incredible performance by Terrence Crawford, and congratulations. So let's get it. And all the Errol Spence fans and haters, hey man, this happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's part of boxing. Peace out. I'll next to the next video and to the next. Deuces.